The Stormcaller changes are finally here, so how are they adding up in the game? Alright, so in this one, I actually just want to give my first initial impressions on how Stormcaller Arc 3.0 is performing alongside the buffs that came out with the most recent season. This is not going to be an in-depth build video, but I will for sure be having one of those out soon, so be sure to stick around this channel if you all would like to see that. So when Arc 3.0 initially launched, for the Warlock, everybody deemed it to be probably one of the worst subclasses in the game. If not the worst, it definitely is down there, and it's just not as effective as other classes. So they actually went out and gave it a bunch of buffs. Not only did they buff the arc soul damage by 71%, they reduced the amount of time it took to get your chaos reach, and they also buffed the melee damage by 50% as well. One of the main complaints is that arc soul just did not feel as good as some other aspects like Child of the Old Gods, and you're still basically committing to the same thing where you put your rift down to get access to it. So to start off, let's actually talk about arc soul, and from my experience in playing so far, Arc Soul actually hits now. It's honestly not a meme anymore, and I'm very happy to say that. I honestly think if you have a team with all having your Arc Soul, it will actually destroy things in higher end content. If you take a look right now on screen, this is a 1610 level activity, and I'm like 1587, I'm pretty sure. So I'm a good amount light level under, and the Arc Soul is still honestly putting in work on these enemies. Now, for sure, what I'm saying putting in work, it's not destroying them and evaporating them in, a second. Obviously, I'm lower light, it's not going to do a good amount of damage, but can you imagine when you're on light level and you also have your two other teammates right there with the Arc Soul shooting? It is actually going to be very good. Playing through the new seasonal content and just doing some other normal content in the game, they honestly have shocked me with how good they're performing, and I really think these might potentially be the next meta. Now, I know that's a long shot. I know competing with something like Wall of Radiance is going to be very, very tough, but having one of these on your team just to get some extra damage out, say specifically in a raid scenario, you just all have an Arc Soul that actually does a good amount of damage now, you're going to be pumping up a lot of DPS, and I would definitely not sleep on these. I cannot wait to make a more in-depth build around this whole kit, and Arc Soul is definitely going to be at the forefront of that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the melee. The melee was already okay, in my opinion, being the fact that if you use Chain Lightning and apply Jolt, and Jolt's just extremely strong. Well, now if you amplify, your Chain Lightning is actually going to do 50% more damage. Now, they also did buff Ball Lightning a little bit, but giving it more range. But in reality, if you're playing a PvE, you're going to be running Chain Lightning. So now not only you're applying Jolt, that a melee is doing 50% more damage, and it is a very, very handy tool to have if you're in a close scenario and you just need to kill a bunch of enemies around you. It's not as strong as the grenade if you have the Jolt fragment equipped, just so your grenade can kill everything, but it is still relatively strong, and it is definitely nothing to sleep on anymore. I don't think it is as strong as the Arc Soul buff. Obviously, from percentages alone, it's 50 and 71%, but the Arc Soul buff is extremely noticeable. I would say this one is a little noticeable, and it is just overall nice to have it in your back pocket. Now, it is going to play really nice, if you use things like Crown Tempest or Fallen Sunstar, because you can make a bunch of ability energy because they want you to spam your abilities like crazy anyway. So now it's going to be even easier to do that. Now, finally, Chaos Reach got a buff that it finally deserved. But unfortunately, I don't want to lie to you guys and say that it is the best thing in the game, because it is definitely not. They did not touch the damage of Chaos Reach. It still is the exact same, but they did decrease the amount of time it takes to actually get another Chaos Reach. Now, if you do use your Chaos Reach in the sense that you just want to delete an enemy or do a little extra damage to a boss if you're out of ammo, or just in any scenario, it can actually be very good for that, because you can just go on and use it and you'll get another one back faster. This is now going to have the same cooldown rate as something like Blade Barrage, so if you're familiar with that, that is kind of what you're working with. And I honestly think it is very good for just clearing out a room of harder adds, but it is still not going to be that DPS super that everyone wants it to be. So overall, for my initial impressions, I'm very pleased with the Stormcaller buffs. I would love to know what you all think about them. Again, the Arc Soul one honestly is very, very fun. It actually just destroys things. When I make that in-depth build, I will go over all the unique interactions you can do with that. Just the fact alone that it makes you get Ionic Traces is really, really good, and it makes it even easier to just spam all your abilities now with things like Fallen Sunstar. The grenades are still strong as they once were. The melee is nice. It's pretty much on level with the grenade now, if not just a little bit weaker. And then the Chaos Reach is just a nice change, but it's still not the damage thing that we all want. So overall, good job on Bungie's end with updating this. If we could get the chaos damage up a little bit, I seriously think this could overthrow Well already. It's going to be extremely hard right now with just how good Well is, but with that extra damage from your Arc Souls and you just run a Healing Rift and then maybe have another team run a Powering Rift, it's going to virtually do the same thing, and you get that extra DPS. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how everything pans out, but I really do like the buffs. Again, let me know what y'all think about them. If you guys did enjoy this and want to see more content just like this, consider subscribing, drop a like, and turn the notification on. Also, if you'd like to join my Discord, follow me on any of my socials. All of that will be linked in the description below. But just know watching this video is way more than enough, and that every single bit of support from y'all is truly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching this one, and have a great day. Peace.